What's up, you guys? Welcome to today's video. Merry Christmas Eve if you are watching this on Christmas Eve. And yes, I have my Invisalign in, so I'm going to be kind of lispy.
So let's just pretend that's not happening.
Today's video, I'm going to be telling you a story of my last Christmas in active addiction. You guys know that crazy story times are my jam. But if you are new here, hi, my name is Jess. I'm a person in long-term recovery who has served time in prison. And my entire crazy life story is in the description box down below. If you want to follow me on any other social media platform, TikTok, Instagram, Patreon, that's $2. It's only ever gonna be $2. Go subscribe to that thing. All of that is linked down below, as well as my vlog channel and my podcast. All right, without further ado, let's kick this thing off. So Facebook actually doesn't forget shit, and they reminded me of this post from 11 years ago. So crazy. I must have posted this on Facebook like as soon as I got to my mom's house, and I must have been like high and in a good mood because the weekend went downhill, and it went downhill really fucking fast. So this story takes place December of 2010, and I'm actually filming it on the exact day that I showed up at my mom's house in Utica. So my mom, who you guys have met on the channel before, she wanted me to come up for Christmas. And she was living in Utica at the time. My brother still lives in Utica. It's not the best place to live in the world. Like any city, there are pros and cons, but Utica is super dangerous. And, you know, one year my mom had someone get shot and killed on her front lawn. And then like a couple of days later, someone got shot and killed in the apartment building right next door to my mom. So I'm like, nah, you're moving out of Utica. I don't care. Like, it's so dangerous. Now she lives in like this really quiet town and like nothing happens there. So makes me happy. Anyway, I went up to visit her in Utica and spend the Christmas holiday with my mom, my brother, and a couple other people. And I had just gotten a re-up from my dealer who was on vacation in freaking Alaska. You cannot make this stuff up. So instead of getting my regular re-up, because he was gonna be gone for so long, he gave me like triple what I was supposed to have. So we are talking about thousands and thousands of dollars of heroin. But I have to go to my mom's for Christmas. And I had these rules early on in my addiction. Don't get high on your own supply. Make sure you make your money back before you get high. Don't bring drugs into your parents' house. Like, I had all these rules that I tried to live by, right? Never work for someone else. Always buy it up front. And if you lose money, that's on you. Like, don't work for someone else and get in debt with someone. Well, as you know, move up, so to say, in that ridiculous world that I idolized so much, the re-ups get bigger and they're fronts. I was fronted a lot of stuff over the course of my drug dealing days. But I had to go to my mom's for Christmas, and I tried to check that box, you know, and I thought that just like being there was enough. Like, dude, no. Anyway, I show up to my mom's house with my ex-boyfriend, and we are really, really high, and there's a backpack full of thousands of dollars worth of heroin. My mom had a really small apartment, and I had a backpack and like some other stuff with me for the weekend. Well, this backpack that had thousands of dollars worth of dope in it, I was just kind of carrying all around the apartment. Like, no one thought that was weird. Come on. I thought I was being slick. No, I wasn't. Because my mom and my brother were like, well, you can put that down. Like, you don't have to carry the backpack all around. No one's gonna like steal it. Because my logic at the time was like, if I leave this stuff at my apartment and someone breaks in, then I'm out all this money. Like, I can't leave it at my apartment. Okay, so I'm carrying this backpack all around my mom's house, and I'm going into the bathroom like every 5-10 minutes to use. And now looking back, I see how horrible that was. But in the time, I'm not thinking about that. I'm like, what? I'm here. You're welcome. Merry Christmas. I showed up like, bitch, not okay. My brother picked up on this so fast. And he was like,
hey, hello.
As I'm like nodding out on the couch.
Hey, you wanna come hang out? Like,
hello. And my mom is like being Joan Cleaver. I think she was just trying to like avoid the severity of how far my addiction had got at this point. So my mom is making all this food, Christmas dinner, and like pumpkin bread, and I don't know what she was making. Tons of stuff, tons of food though. My mom is an amazing cook, and she was whipping it up. My boyfriend and I are going in and out of the bathroom constantly. My brother's pissed off because obviously I'm high and obviously there's drugs in the house. So he's really freaking mad. He's mad because he knows how stressed out my mom is. And I mean, yeah, he should be mad. He had every right in the world to be mad. I tried so hard to hide this too. You know, I was like, oh, I'm just really tired. At 6 p.m. and you're 20, you're not tired. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. You are not tired at 6 p.m. when you're 20. Like, that's the time where you have all the energy in the world.
But I'm like, oh, I'm so tired, man.
Like, okay. So my mom wants to do the Christmas thing the next day and open presents, and I'm just like really not feeling it. Well, we must have stayed there like 2 or 3 days or so, right? Because I posted it on December 23rd. So yeah, I must have stayed there like 2 days. Well, Christmas Day, I realized that my ex-boyfriend was using way more than he was supposed to be using, and that was very hard for me to keep an eye on because I couldn't take the backpack out, examine exactly how much I have and how much he's supposed to use. I couldn't separate it because my mom is here. Oh, and her apartment was so small that we had to sleep in the living room. So, very confined space. Apartments in New York are hella small. So I couldn't just take it out, and yeah, super stressful. But I finally realized like how much he was using, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, we are in trouble. Stop it. Only use to not get sick. Like, please freaking stop. And I'm like arguing with him in the bathroom, and I have like epic hearing, so I can hear every single thing that's going on at all times in my house, and this has always been the case. I hear my brother go like walk down the hallway and just stop outside of the bathroom door mid argument. And I'm like, nope, brother unit is outside the door. So I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, and I'm trying to tell my ex, like, my brother is outside the door. And I just assume that everyone has like the best hearing in the world. I assume everyone can hear like I can. So I'm like, okay, no one heard you. So my brother knocks on the door. He's like, hey, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything's fine, bro. I'm just locked in a bathroom with my boyfriend and you haven't seen me for 8 months and I showed up high as hell, but everything's fine. I'm not exactly sure what happened beyond that point. I don't know how much time had passed. Like I said, time moved differently for me back then. But the next time I went into the bathroom to use, my brother actually came to the bathroom and just opened the door. And I was like mid-rig to my arm. And he saw me and he slammed the door and got really mad. And instead of like putting that down and like going to talk to him and apologizing, I used and I put everything away. Then I went out and talked to him. Like, that's a really good indicator of just how strong addiction is. I love my brother so much. I named my firstborn child after him. Like, my brother is everything to me. He is my ride or die, would do anything for my brother. And I hate that he was so upset, but I'm not gonna not get high. I'm gonna get high and then I'll go talk to you. It just shows you like addiction ran my life. You know, like I knew he was gonna be there in 5 minutes. He can wait 5 minutes. He can be upset for 5 minutes. I'll go talk to him. And I thought that was like a good thing to do. So I go out to talk to him. He's pissed and I'm mad. I'm mad at my brother now for yelling at me, and like he said it in front of my mom, so now my mom knows that I was using. Like, hello, she knew the whole time. But to me, I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, what the fuck? Don't tell her. What's going on? So I'm mad at my ex because he used a bunch of dope. I'm mad at my brother for yelling at me in front of my mom about it. And I get really mad. So I start packing up all my stuff, Christmas presents included, because I was just such a great person at the time. I'm packing up all my stuff. I called my friend for a ride. My childhood friend who's known me all my life, who is not an addict. I call her to come pick me and my boyfriend at the time up and gather all my stuff. My mom's like, no, Jessie, don't leave. And I'm like, I'm out of here. Okay, I sucked. So I leave Christmas Day and everyone's upset because, hello, I was just shooting up in the freaking bathroom and I had been for days. So I leave, I'm walking down the street. My friend shows up to pick me up. I get in the car, my boyfriend gets in the car, and I'm like, oh, hell no, he can walk, get out. I'm having this full-blown argument with him. I mean, she had seen fights like this all the time, but still, it's Christmas, dude, chill. But I had no chill. I had zero chill. Zero. So I'm yelling at him, telling him he can walk. All of this fighting is going on. I think I hopped out of the car at one point and I walked down the street a little bit and I see that my brother can see from the apartment building and I'm like, oh my God, get in the car. Like, this just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, he's gonna be so freaking mad at me. He's never gonna forgive me. So my friend takes me back to my apartment and I kind of survey how much we have left. I completely ruined Christmas that year for my family. And I remember sitting in my apartment counting out everything that I have and making sure that we're gonna be okay. And I remember thinking, damn, that was shitty. You know, like, I remember feeling bad in that moment, but it was too much for me to handle, so I just kept getting high and I wanted to forget about it. And it was just one of those moments where it's like, wow, you just disappointed the people you care most about and you just ran out on Christmas Day. But whatever, we'll deal with that later, because that was the like mindset of a drug addict. I'll deal with it later, who cares, whatever. Well, long story short, I didn't have enough dope to pay back the front that was just given to me. So great, now we're in more debt. And it's just one of those things where like I just kept digging a hole. And I would make back the money and I would get out of debt and then I'd go right back into debt. Like it was just this roller coaster. And I really don't know how my dealer like kept that going for so long. I think the only reason he did is because, yeah, I might be 30 grand in debt today, but I can make that back tomorrow and the next day and I'm good for it. And then I was making him money. I don't know how he worked with me for so long. He did cut me off at one point and I was cut off for a couple of months, but he put me back on, you know? And it's probably because I eventually paid him back, right? That doesn't matter. The really sad part is I didn't see my mom and my brother again in person for years. So I left February of 2011. I didn't go back to Utica to visit my mom and my brother before I left. So that's the last memory they had of me. And I called my mom in my addiction, you know, to meth when I was in Arkansas. I'd call her at 2 o'clock in the morning and we'd stay up all night talking on the phone. And what's crazy is like my mom would answer the phone at 2 a.m. And I think she did that for so long because she was afraid that that was gonna be the last phone call. Family members of addicts live in constant fear that they're gonna get a phone call that their loved one is gone. And I didn't even recognize that in my addiction. I didn't see that at all. I also had to tell my mom that I was pregnant in jail. You know, when I found out, oh God, around this time actually. That's crazy. Yeah, so I probably found out I was pregnant maybe a couple weeks into December of 2011. So after I'd been at the jail for a couple of weeks, which is crazy. So like almost a year to the day is when my mom got that call from county jail saying like, hey, I'm locked up and I'm pregnant. So that's what's so mind-blowing. I actually think it was a year to the day because I got a phone card from a girl that had come through the county jail and she got bonded out. It was like a little bit before Christmas. So I bet it's a year to the day that my mom found out I was pregnant. I just thought of that just now. Crazy. What a wild ride. So my parents didn't get to meet Micah until she was like 4, I want to say, because yes, I got her back when she was a little over 2 years old, but I didn't have the money to travel to New York and visit them. Like I was barely scraping by. The good thing is that yes, that was my last Christmas in active addiction, but I'm now 10 years in recovery. How freaking amazing is that? I never thought I would live to see 10 years in recovery or like 10 days in recovery. So anything beyond 10 days is like a freaking miracle to me. If you are still struggling in active addiction and the holidays are super hard, I have been there. You are absolutely not alone. And if you need resources to find recovery, I'm a partner with Groups Recover. I will leave them linked in the description box of this video. They're available in 11 states and they're going to be available in 8 more states. So definitely check that out. It's a both in-person and online treatment program. Their treatment model is harm reduction. They're 420 friendly. That's really important because harm reduction saves lives. Please reach out if you are struggling. I'm gonna end today's video here. As always, I love you guys. Stay safe, stay in recovery, whatever that looks like to you. Merry Christmas, you guys. My mouth is hella sore, you guys, so